Why do so many men, despite hard work and talent, never reach financial freedom? It's not about effort, luck, or opportunity. It's about the invisible mental gaps we refuse to see. The beliefs we inherit, the fears we suppress, the illusions of security we cling to, these silently sabotage ambition. What if the very mindset you trust to make you succeed is the one keeping you broke? This isn't just a financial problem, it's an emotional, psychological puzzle about desire, discipline, and daring to confront uncomfortable truths about yourself. So many men talk about wanting financial success. They say, I want to be rich. I want to build a business. I want to create freedom for my family. And I get it. That dream is powerful. But here's the thing, dreaming isn't enough. Wanting something doesn't automatically create it. Most men fail financially because they confuse desire with discipline. They think ambition alone is going to carry them forward, but ambition without consistent, disciplined action is like a car without an engine. You're just sitting there, staring at the road, waiting for something to happen. Think about it. Every single success story you admire, every entrepreneur, investor, or leader you respect, they didn't just wish for it. They didn't just hope that one day money would appear or that luck would smile on them. They trained themselves to act consistently, day after day, even when motivation disappeared, even when it was uncomfortable, even when it was inconvenient. That's what separates the men who fail from the men who succeed. The willingness to do what is necessary, even when it isn't easy, even when no one is watching, even when the rewards are months or years away. And this isn't just about working harder, it's about thinking differently. Most men operate in the now, what feels good today, what's easy today, what's comfortable today. But wealth, real wealth, comes from mastering delayed gratification. It comes from making sacrifices now so you can live freely later. It's choosing to invest your time, your energy, and your resources into things that compound over years, not instant pleasures that vanish in a moment. That gap between desire and discipline, that's the invisible wall holding men back. Look, I know it's uncomfortable, T. Oh, hear this. I know it's easier to blame the system, blame the economy, blame your upbringing, blame the cards you were dealt. But the truth is, the men who bridge this gap don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait until they feel ready. They start now. They create systems, habits, and routines that align with long-term goals. They surround themselves with people who push them, challenge them, hold them accountable. And most importantly, they refuse to give themselves permission to quit. So the first step to breaking free isn't learning a new strategy, isn't finding a secret shortcut, isn't hoping for luck to change. It's understanding that your mind is either your greatest ally or your worst enemy. Your ambition is a spark, but discipline is the fuel. And without that fuel, the fire goes out. Without that fire, your dreams stay just that, dreams. If you want to change your financial destiny, it starts here. Stop confusing wanting with doing. Stop waiting for motivation to strike. Commit to the work, embrace the discomfort, and bridge that mental gap between desire and discipline. Because until you do, nothing else matters. Let's talk about fear. Fear is the invisible It keeps most men from ever reaching their full financial potential. You see, it's not lack of talent or intelligence that holds people back. It's the fear of leaving the familiar behind. Most men settle into routines, into comfort, because it feels safe. A steady paycheck, a predictable schedule, a life that looks stable. These are the chains disguised as security. And what happens? That's off. ET becomes a prison. Because while you're busy clinging to what's comfortable, opportunities for growth, for wealth, for freedom are passing right by. The truth is, wealth is not created in comfort zones. It's created on the edge of fear, in the space where most men refuse to go. Taking a calculated risk can feel terrifying. You might fail, you might look foolish, you might lose what you already. But here's the thing. Every man who has ever achieved financial greatness has stared that fear in the face and taken action anyway. They understand that risk is not something to avoid, it's something to manage. It's something to use strategically. And the men who refuse to embrace risk, who cling to the illusion of safety, end up stuck. Think about it. How many people do you know who comply in about their financial situation, but refuse to try something new? They stay in jobs they hate, in businesses that aren't growing, in patterns that don't serve them, because stepping into uncertainty feels dangerous. They forget that comfort is temporary, but regret lasts a lifetime. That fear Fear of failing, fear of looking foolish, fear of losing what they already have, quietly eats away at AMB. It convinces men that inaction is safer than action, when in reality it's the fastest route to stagnation. And here's what most men don't realize. Risk isn't reckless. Risk is educated, deliberate, intentional action taken despite fear. It's testing yourself, learning, pivoting, and growing. It's understanding that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the journey to it. Yet, most men let fear dictate their decisions. They wait until the conditions feel perfect, until the coast is clear, until the right moment arrives. And by the time they do, the opportunity is gone, and they're left wondering why they never got ahead. So if you want to break through financial mediocrity, you have to confront fear head on. You have to redefine security. Security is not a paycheck, a routine, or a comfort. It's having the confidence and courage to take control of your future, to face uncertainty, and to act anyway. You have to step into that discomfort because that is where growth lives. That is where freedom lives. Remember this: men who let fear rule their lives will never build wealth. Men who embrace fear and act anyway will never be stopped. Here's something most men stop to consider. The biggest obstacle to financial success isn't the economy, the job market, or even a lack of opportunity. It's the voice in your head, the subconscious beliefs that tell you what you can and cannot do. These are the beliefs you inherited without even realizing it. Maybe someone told you as a kid that money doesn't grow on trees. Maybe you grew up in a household where wealth was frowned upon, or success was treated as suspicious. Maybe you were taught that dreaming big is dangerous, or that you're only good enough for a certain level of life. These messages live in your mind long after childhood, quietly shaping every decision you make about money. Most men fail financially not because they don't know what to do, but because their mind is wired to limit them. They say, LF sabotage, without realizing it. They don't take risks, they don't invest in themselves, they don't push for more because deep down, they believe they can't. And this isn't just a small thing, it's massive. It's the difference between a man who struggles paycheck to paycheck and a man who builds wealth, freedom, and influence. The first step to closing the mental gap to financial success is recognizing these internal barriers. You have to identify the stories you've been telling yourself that aren't serving you, and then you have to rewrite them. Think about it. The world rewards confidence, decisiveness, and belief in possibility. But if your internal narrative says, I'm not capable, or I don't deserve this, you'll never step into the opportunities around you. You'll avoid risks, nor growth, and settle for mediocrity. And here's the kicker. You'll often think these are just external failures. You'll blame the system, blame your boss, blame your circumstances. But the truth is, it's the programming in your mind that's the real obstacle. Until you confront it, until you challenge it, until you take control of it, nothing else will move the needle. And confronting it is not easy. It takes courage to admit that the person holding you back isn't the economy, it's you. It takes self-awareness to recognize how much of your financial life has been dictated by beliefs that aren't even yours, that you never chose consciously. But once you do, the transformation is powerful. You start making decisions from a place of possibility instead of fear. You take calculated risks. You invest in yourself. You stop tolerating mediocrity. So here's the reality. Your financial destiny is shaped more by your beliefs than by your bank account. Change your beliefs and your actions will follow. Change your actions and your results will follow. The men who succeed financially are the men who mastered their minds first. Until you do the same, the gap between where you are and where why could be will remain wide, and every dream will remain just that, a dream. Own your mind, and you own your future. Let's be honest. We live in a culture obsessed with instant gratification. Everywhere you look, there's something designed to give you pleasure, excitement, or validation right now. Social media, entertainment, shopping, even relationships, they're all wired to satisfy immediate desi. And here's the danger. The men who fail financially are the men who let this culture dictate their choices. They focus on what feels good today instead of what will build wealth tomorrow. They buy what they don't need, chase validation instead of growth, and ignore the small disciplined steps that compound into real success. The truth is, money isn't made by chasing short-term thrills. It's made by embracing long-term vision, by making decisions that feel uncomfortable in the moment but pay off massively over time. Delayed gratification is the foundation of financial freedom. It's choosing to invest in your education, your skills, your business, or your assets, instead of spending on fleeting pleasures. It's saying no to something today so you can say yes to a life of independence and opportunity tomorrow. And this is where most men stumble. They underestimate the power of patience. They think they can have it all now. And when that doesn't happen, they quit or settle. Think about the men who built real wealth. Did they do it by buying the latest gadgets or chasing trends? No. They did it by making uncomfortable choices consistently. They did it by delaying pleasure for focusing on growth, investing in themselves, and thinking 10 steps ahead. They understood that discipline and patience are more valuable than excitement and convenience. Every decision mattered, every choice compounded. In that mindset, the willingness to forego immediate satisfaction for long-term gain is exactly what separates men who achieve financial freedom from those who don't. And be real, it's hard. Temptation is everywhere. Friends, peers, even society will encourage you to live now while the future can wait. But every indulgence you give into today takes something from your future self. Every dollar spent on something trivial, every hour wasted on entertainment instead of growth, is a lost opportunity to bridge the mental gap to success. Financial discipline is not glamorous. It's not flashy. It doesn't feel good in the moment. But over time, it builds a life others only dream of. So here's the challenge. Start thinking like the future version of yourself, the one you want to become. Make decisions from that perspective. Choose growth over comfort. Choose patience over impulse. Embrace the power of delayed gratification, because every small sacrifice you make today becomes a building block for financial freedom tomorrow. Remember this. Wealth is not a sprint. It's a marathon. Men who chase instant pleasure will always fall behind. Men who can wait, plan, and act with purpose will always get ahead. Here's something most men overlook. You are the average of the people you spend the most time with. If you want to understand why so many men fail just look around at their circles. The friends, colleagues, mentors, and even family who surround you either lift you up or hold you back, and what's scary is most men don't even realize it. They think success is about knowledge or strategy alone, but in reality, your environment shapes your mindset, your decisions, and ultimately your results. The wrong influences can quietly reinforce mediocrity without you even noticing it. Think about it. If every day you're surrounded by people who complain about money, make excuses, and avoid responsibility, what do you absorb? Fear, doubt, and limitations. Your ambitions get diluted. Your mindset stays small. And when opportunity knocks, you hesitate or second-guess yourself because the people around you have conditioned you to play it safe. The other hand, if you're around people who challenge you, inspire you, and hold you accountable, something shifts. You start thinking bigger. You start acting bolder. You begin to see that financial success is possible because you're being reminded every day that it is. Mentorship is a key part of this. Look, no one becomes great entirely on their own. Men who achieve real wealth didn't just tumble into it. They sought guidance, advice, and knowledge from those who had already walked the path. They invested in learning from people who had been there, who had made the mistakes, who had succeeded. Mentorship accelerates growth because it compresses years of trial and error into lessons you can apply immediately. And yet, most men fail to seek it. They either ignore it or settle for advic from people who have never achieved anything meaningful. But influence isn't just about avoiding negative voices. It's about actively choosing positive ones. You have to be intentional about who you spend your time with, who you listen to, and who you let shape your thinking. If your goal is financial freedom, start surrounding yourself with men who have achieved it, or at least have the disciple mindset and vision to get there. Immerse yourself in environments that teach, challenge, and stretch you, because no amount of talent, knowledge, or ambition can overcome the gravitational pull of mediocrity if you were constantly orbiting it. And here's the reality. Your network is not just optional, it's a multiplier. The men who succeed financially are the men who understand the power of strategic relationships. They understand that environment shapes identity. They understand that if they want to raise their game, they have to raise the people around them. So if you're serious about bridging the mental gap to success, start looking at your surroundings. Who do you let influence your thinking? Who are your mentors? Who are the peers you admire or the ones you settle for? Because truth is simple. Your circle determines your trajectory, and choosing the right one could be the single most important financial decision you ever make. Surround yourself with winners, and winning becomes inevitable. Here's the harsh truth that most men never admit at the end of the day. No one else is responsible for your financial success. Not your parents, not your boss, not the system, and not your circumstances. The moment you start blaming external forces for where you are is the moment you give up control of where you could be. Financial success and success in life is about ownership. It's about accepting that your decisions, your mindset, and your actions are the ultimate drivers of your results. Everything else is just noise. Most men fail because they wait. They wait for opportunity to come knocking. They wait for the right time or the perfect moment. They wait for someone else to hand them permission to succeed. And while they wait, life moves on without them. But the men who close the mental gap to financial success understand something simple. The right time is now. The right moment is when you decide to stop making excuses and start taking responsibility. Waiting for permission is the luxury of men who are comfortable settling for mediocrity. And let's be honest, taking ownership isn't easy. It's uncomfortable, it's inconvenient, it forces you to confront mistakes you've made, habits you've ignored, and fears you've avoided. But here's the key: men who embrace responsibility become unstoppable. They stop blaming circumstances and start solving problems. They stop complaining and start creating. They stop watching life happen to them and start making it happen. Ownership transforms the way you think, the way you act, and ultimately, the results you achieve. Every decision you make matters. Every choice, every investment, every hour you spend is a vote for the life you want or against it. When you take full responsibility for your financial future, you stop waiting for a handout or a shortcut. You stop hoping for luck. You start acting. You start building systems, acquiring knowledge, taking risks, and staying disciplined. You start thinking in terms of solutions rather than excuses. And over time, those consistent, responsible actions compound into the freedom, wealth, and success most men only dream about. Here's the thing, accountability is the ultimate equalizer. It doesn't matter where you start, what you've lost, or what's been against you. What matters is how you respond. Do you step up and own your life, or do you continue to let fear, comfort, and blame dictate your results? The men who succeed financially are not smarter, luckier, or more talented. They are the men who refuse to be victims of circumstance. They own everything, every decision, every mistake, every win. So, if you want to close the mental gap to financial success, start here. Stop blaming, stop waiting, stop compromising. Take responsibility for your actions, your mindset, and your results. Because until you do, the gap will remain wide, and your dreams will remain out of reach. Ownership is not just a principle, it's the foundation of wealth, freedom, and real success. Take control. Own your life. Nothing else matters. Every man wants financial freedom, yet most never achieve it. They work harder, longer, and smarter, but still feel stuck, frustrated, and powerless. Why? Because the biggest gap isn't in opportunity, it's in the mind. It's the invisible barriers, the fears, the habits, and the beliefs that silently sabotage ambition. While others dream, the success. Full act. While others wait for permission, they take control. Today, we're going to expose the mental truths most men refuse to face, uncover the gaps that separate struggle from success, and show exactly what it takes to finally break through and build lasting wealth.